Oh,
And
dumplings from all over the world. Yes.
I visited Anish, as loyal viewers of the show will remember. I was accused of being drunk in his kitchen at 5 o'clock, which I was not. Not at five
Listen,
o'clock anyway.
but yeah, beverages were
Not
consumed.
yet.
Yeah, not yet though. That's why we did it early.
Right.
We're like, let's get this
That's
out of
the
the
reason
way.
we did it early?
Oh
Is
yes.
because
Well,
why
we were
would
gonna go
we
get
stop
something to
that
eat,
fun and frivolity from being aired to all the
and then we knew
wonderful
we were going to
BS
go
we're
right
talking
into
about?
drinking and smoking. And actually, we didn't smoke cigars that night. I don't. Did we? No, we didn't.
Not
Either
cigars.
way, I just wanted to publicly give Anish credit, because the next day when we were getting ready to leave to head to Notre Dame, he made me drip style coffee, as you would do at your house. I remember that.
Yep. Excellent.
But the mug he served it to me in, or he put on the counter for me, was warm.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
said, "Oh man, the mug's even warm," before my coffee was
Wow.
in it. And he's like,
Wow.
and you're supposed to serve coffee in a warm mug. I don't know why people don't understand this.
What do you think? I am some kind of savage here?
Some kind of animal? Exactly. Savage is better, right?
That's awesome. We don't warm our mugs in the Beat Out house.
I'm just saying, it was a very nice, it was like a bed and breakfast.
Did he
So-
warm your robe and underwear before you put it on? That
Of
morning?
course.
Among other things, yes.
Right.
Well, but what I'm saying is, if you have the opportunity to stop by Anish's bed and
Listen,
breakfast,
I
in
stayed at
Pittsburgh,
the Chateau de Money earlier,
Well, we don't treat our
a week
guests that well.
beforehand. And so all I had, it was just repaying the favor. It was good. I heard, it was a good experience at Notre Dame. I heard it was a great experience. Minnesota, I heard it was dry. I heard it was temperate. It was just
we
beautiful.
haven't talked.
It was,
Yeah, we took a bye week last week, and
so did Purdue.
and
The
yes,
week
people-
before.
coffee snobs. Yes, it's weird to be drinking coffee on the Handsome Hour. I will say that.
I should have coffee in my hand. I don't. I feel naked.
This is what happens whenever anybody has a bourbon on this show. He goes,
I
"Hold
know,
on,"
I
and
have
he
a
leaves
nice-
the room.
I
and
would be
comes-
gone from the way Greg. Yes, it would take me a long time to make coffee. I'm that guy.
He by the time you're done, you're just like, "I don't want coffee."
The show would be over, and I'd be like, "All right." No,
You have no idea how much time that footage at the beginning of the QuickCast took.
that's right. It was like 4 days.
That was a lot of shoots. We had to have a crew in.
Yeah.
Speaking of, no, we weren't, but I'm going to speak before I forget. Thanks to our friends at Martin Vintage, martinvintage.com. Enter boil at checkout, get 15% off your order. Wonderful shirts. I believe we're all connoisseurs of their apparel. Gridiron Metalworks also 15% off if you enter boil.
They've got a special deal. They're trying to, just in case you're interested. I watched Derek. He came to his customers and asked, "Could you make your order a little early? Supply chains are tough this year. Everyone who knows that is a consumer. So make your order a little bit early. It'd be great." And enter boiled at checkout, get 15% off. He loves it. He loves the boiled sports people out there because. Honestly, this is true, by the way, and you could talk to Derek about this. Some of you guys were like his first customers. That's true. It's pretty.
We
awesome.
made Gridiron Metalworks. What you're saying?
Yes, exactly. We demand our royalties.
You'd be nothing without us, Derek.
We're coming for you.
We gave you Paul Sadler. We didn't
We did.
actually. We didn't, but
We can't give away. Paul Sadler's a gift for the world, and
It's true.
Derek can't even hold him down. He's a
Why would you
wonderful
want him?
gift. He's like,
And by the way, also eat AJ's when you're on campus. Burgers, beers, beef. They're good. Say hi, wave, tell them we sent you, and they send Anish a burger each time someone says that.
That's
So,
right.
everything.
The house overflowing with burgers.
It looks great, actually. Right now, you've hidden all the burgers behind that wall.
It's all there. It's all right off screen. It's just right here.
I have to say, John, in the comments here, maybe we could throw that up on screen. We found a way to come out of the bye week, BUY, with more injuries than after a game. And I was thinking the exact same thing this week, John. I was thinking, how does Purdue practice on a parking lot or something? How come they always seem to be more injured after bye weeks than after games? I guess Purdue just
I
hit
was so
that much harder
excited
than
for the
their
bye
opponents.
week, man. I was so excited.
Because we were all like, "Oh, they made it to the bye week." Okay.
So the big injury right now, right, is Trice. Like,
Trice.
But everybody, it does seem like Durham is going to come back probably this game. We think maybe, we're probably keeping Rice. I don't know, or we're probably getting Rice back. Maybe either this week or next week.
And they're
No,
working.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't
Well, they're
think
also
so.
working out running wide receivers. At running
Yeah,
back.
yes. I think Rice
That's always a good
and
sign.
That's
Yassine
good.
are.
That's
I
good.
think Rice and Yassine might be done for the season, is what I'm hearing. I hear that Jay and Anish are going to split time at running back.
Yeah.
Um,
I got hands.
I'm more of a
I can
fullback,
do this.
just to be
yeah,
clear.
at this point, you're a blocker, man. Lay the
Hey,
wood to
I've
that
got hands.
linebacker. Give it to him.
Yeah, exactly.
John Younger confirms Rice and
Jeez.
Yassine are out for the year. So if you guys don't know, Yassine, he had a major
Already
knee
played one
injury, it
game.
sounds like, and that's it for him. So I don't know what that means. I think it
But
sounds
we
like
think
ACL stuff to me,
but we expect David Bell and Wright to be available, correct?
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
And of course, the news, we should just get right to it, is that AOC was named the starter.
Yeah, that's a big
And,
deal.
and so I didn't hear Brom say it, but I saw that, the quotes of him making it almost sound like, yeah, he's our starter. Like very.
Which is interesting because 5-7 days ago, whatever, he was like, "Yeah, we're open. We don't know who's starting. Everybody's getting a look. In fact, every person might play quarterback at some point if you've ever held a football." Like it sounded to me on Monday or whenever that was that there's a very good chance we'll see 3 quarterbacks.
Right. Well, and that's we just got asked that question, and I've seen that all over Twitter. Why is Alemo not, or not even just Alemo, right? Haven't we also heard? Why isn't Burton an option? People have been talking about that.
Burton's gonna
I
play
bet we see Burton. I bet we see Burton, particularly against Iowa, particularly against that defense that really loves to play straight up. I bet there is some strangeness with Burton. I am fine with it.
Yeah, but when he comes in, isn't it like Purdue's just saying, "Hey, not going to pass here"?
But that's the whole thing.
No,
if they would go back to the old Jeff Brom would stand up and say, "Okay, maybe I'll bring him in sometime and we'll pass into the flat." Maybe we'll bring him sometime with Plummer or AOC, right? Have him in the backfield. I mean,
I would love that.
All it would do is make the linebackers freeze or pause for a second, right?
Well,
that's what you really need to do. But Brock asked a great, that question that you guys just had up on why is Alemo not being considered? To me, it must say that. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm gonna go out here and say something that I haven't said to you two at all. Okay?
I love you.
No, you've heard that before. I don't think we can continue to call Jeff Brom the quarterback whisperer and the offensive genius that I thought he was a couple years ago. And I feel let down by saying that. But until I see reason to believe that's true, he's botching the way the quarterbacks are being handled right now. The play calling, I've been upset with it as much as I can be and still be a supportive fan for the entire season. And every week we come in and we're like, wow, that went exactly as we thought it would go, meaning no surprises, no gadget plays, nothing inventive. What? I mean, like, seriously, that's the biggest letdown for me this year is that I was hoping for just a glimpse of the old Jeff Brom stuff and the things that I could go back. Remember, I'm on record saying this. All you guys in the margin, well, I don't know what you're saying right now, but God bless you. Just thanks for being here. But I'm on record saying over and over that I believe in Jeff Brom as a coach and I believe in him as a quarterback developer and so on and so forth. Well, I have to be honest right now. And I have to do what I've said for a long time with you guys. I have to say things based on exactly what we're seeing, right? Until you see something different, how can you go any other way?
I think the biggest thing, the last game, the Minnesota game, I don't think, for once, I think play calling was an issue kind of every game except for, UConn, because that's a fake game.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think against Minnesota, I was actually fine with what was actually called. That was the game where execution was a real issue.
Right? Wouldn't you say the first half?
Even the second half. No, even both halves, I think were called okay. It was a real failure of execution. I mean, and that's why it was a little startling to hear the dismissiveness when the quarterback question came up, because AOC took Purdue out of the game.
Right.
That game was there for the taking. If we even take out the sacks that were essentially, drive killers, like there were 3 sacks that took them out of field goal range on
Yes.
third down, which is at the very least,
Cardinals
that's
thing.
6
Double
points
digit
right there.
points. And this
Right.
is the problem with this team this year, right? Not scoring when down in scoring position.
And the other one,
Adding insult to injury, which is already the problem.
and then was it Rice or Sheffield, or Wright or Sheffield, the last kind of drive that it was, wide open, kind of slant over the middle, had a wide open lane to the end zone to tie it up and overthrew him. And so to me,
He missed Wright and Sheffield multiple times last game.
Yep.
And multiple times. Where I was like, he's not even seeing them. When we all talk about the great thing about O'Connell is he'll throw it into a window if he sees the guy, but he's not seeing the field the way that we thought he would.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like John says AOC was in for accuracy, but he wasn't always accurate. That's my point, is that I don't know what he gives. Like, I actually was fine with the way that the game was called versus Minnesota. I actually thought the game plan was good, especially for the weather. It was a perfectly called game. The defense did exactly what was needed. A turnover would have been nice, but again, the defense did what was needed, held a Big Ten team to under 20 points. The other part of this is, you come away in the end. You have to take into. I think the kicking game is fine. I'm not worried about it. It was the elements, which is why I said those 3 sacks that took Purdue out of field goal range. You can count 6 points to it because you got to bake in, at least one miss. But the problem is when the quarterback you pick doesn't have the better arm, doesn't have more experience, but has accuracy, and just spent a really valuable game on Purdue's schedule, like kind of throwing the game away. It's like, or indecisioning the game away. I don't know how we don't go back to Plummer. I hope AOC proves me wrong, because the last time
there's nobody right. That's the thing. The 3 of us go around and we'll express our opinions. That's what we do. We're idiots, right? But we're just saying what we think. And so we don't want to see AOC fail as a quarterback. Let me make that very, 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 very clear. What we want to see is everybody who's wearing black and gold to succeed. That means the coach doing a great job, and he's such a hot commodity that other people want to come hire him. We want to see players on lists, and we want to see guys doing big things and talking about going pro because they're that good. And we want to see Purdue winning a lot of games.
Yeah.
We don't want to see indecision. We don't want to see controversies. We don't see that crap at all.
The last time AOC and Bell combined to play Iowa, it was a drubbing. For Purdue, right? 3 touchdowns last year, all from AOC. It was Purdue's one kind of really impressive win of a chaos year last year. David Bell was amazing. It was really his breakout game kind of nationally, and that was AOC throwing to him. So I hope that they can replicate that again. Maybe that's why Brahm is going with AOC, and maybe that was why it was such an obvious call. But to me, man, that the further and further away I got from the Notre Dame loss, the better I felt about it. And the further and further away I got from this Minnesota loss, the worse I feel about it, which was like, wow, there's no, there's the rest of the schedule is not very scary, but that was one that was there for the taking.
I would push back a little there. I think you are, I think you're.
I'm not saying they're going to win, right? But
they needed that.
That was the margin.
7 wins.
That was the margin for error. If we want 6 wins, I think we can kiss 7 a goodbye. But if you want 6 wins, that Minnesota game was your margin for error.
Important.
And so you no longer have that. There's IU, there's Northwestern, and there's one grab bag game of.
But that was a home game.
Wisconsin's not good, guys. This is the thing. Like, and I, by the way, I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to win. But they're not good.
Wisconsin?
They're not good. Yeah, Wisconsin.
Okay.
No, but here are the team. Like, let me name it for you: Wisconsin, Michigan State.
Michigan State is a game that I think it's funny. If you watch them play, they win. I know they're ranked. I know they're undefeated. Right there, 1 loss.
Yeah, but
I know,
like
I know all this. That said, go
that
on.
being
That
said,
said, I just don't know if I believe it, I guess is what I'm saying.
I mean, same thing. Nebraska, fine. All of these
Yeah.
are beatable teams.
One
But
is
if
not beatable, right? 2 games left. I don't think they're going to win. Like, I do not think. Actually, I'd say 3. But I don't think
yeah.
they're gonna
So, but that's what I'm saying. You line all of those up, and
Yeah.
Minnesota is towards the bottom of that list, which is why it's like,
Yeah, that's
man,
fair. I
you
agree.
got like even in the rain, as well called as that was, like I hate putting it on AOC, but that was quarterback play that let that one slip
You got to win
away.
that game.
Well,
Unfortunately,
think about what they got, what Purdue did well in that game. Defense did their job. Running game was established because that was the big one coming into that game. Can they run the ball? Like you were saying, pass to create the pass, which I thought was a brilliant idea, seriously. But Doru gave them everything they needed. And
That's
then you
right.
have AOC fumble during a drive was deep down the field, throw an interception at the end when he's driven them pretty far deep into the zone, take 3 sacks that were very important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can deny that stuff. And I
Nope.
know there are people, we're going to get like nasty stuff on Twitter. For some reason, there is a AOC's fan club is they're vociferous.
AOC's
I don't know
pretty-
if there's a plumber fan club other than me.
I know where you're going, Anish. I know.
Hey,
Land the
there's-
joke.
Listen, the AOC online presence is very vocal. You've got to
The,
Very
gra-
polarized.
the grassroots AOC.
Very
You've got to watch
constituency
out.
is- yeah,
I heard he
everywhere.
bartended.
Jason Rigger tired. Build a new South End Zone complex wired. Build a roof over Rossade. I mean,
go.
I'm in.
I'm
I'm
in.
in.
That'd be
even
great.
close.
At least
Just
over the
just
fans, like
Like
they
a
do in
pavilion.
Miami.
Not
Yeah.
over the fans.
Yeah.
Over a pavilion.
No,
That's all
I
we're
want it
talking
over
about.
me. I want it
Actually,
over
what
me.
be
about
so
a roof?
proud.
What about a moving one that follows Purdue?
The play? Oh, just Purdue. So it's over Purdue's defense or offense.
It does analysis, on the spot analysis, wherever the most Purdue players are.
Yeah.
It's
just
really
like
just
in
a-
baseball stadiums where it's a different length for home
Right.
runs, or like
Right.
there's a stupid wall
Just
that's
make it unique.
getting in the way.
Right.
Exactly. You can just make it so that the ball the
Put one of those
roof follows
concrete
Purdue
highway
around.
barriers, like
Yeah.
at the 20, just but don't tell anybody, right? Like
Yeah. Build it out of mirrors and it'll be invisible. It's fine.
build it out of mirrors.
years.
Oh, we found the barrier. There's a home field advantage. No, what you're saying is build a canopy.
Yes.
For Purdue, like a tailgating canopy.
Movable canopy. Yes,
Put it
that's
on
right. You
wheels.
can put a
They
block
have
beyond
the
it if you want
cameras
to.
going by on those little cars. This isn't
Exactly.
that hard.
It's
the technology
technology.
exists.
Difficult.
The technology is there.
Surrounded by engineers too, guys. I mean, how
Come on,
difficult can
don't
it
make us
be?
think of everything.
And that's the
a
other
low
reason.
roof.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
roof will equalize the kick. Yeah, you got to hit liners. Well, it's like that. It actually got a feature story, I think, on ESPN.com about Idaho's, the Vandals, their stadium. It's like in a 50-gallon drum.
Yeah.
Like they built like a. It's very weird. Like it's a football stadium. It looks like it's arena football.
Doesn't Syracuse have something similar?
They play in the Carrier Dome.
Carrier Dome, something
that's
similar.
a lot like the Hoosier Dome used to be. That's
Yeah,
really it's
yeah.
a
It's
full
just not that
volume, air pressure dome. So.
Yeah,
Which
but it's
is
not-
wild.
Oh, the
Like,
style,
It is
yeah.
wild that it still exists. I think that's
Yeah.
the last one that's still being used. I believe.
Speaking of coaches that have been disappointing, my man Dino Babers, like that's
Gosh,
another.
I feel bad. I love that guy.
Me
he looks
too.
pitiful on the sideline too.
Me too. Is this how Purdue fans, or is this how non-Purdue fans feel about Jeff Brown? Oh no.
They see him and they're like, "Oh."
Well, let's think about this because my son will bring up stuff that I've said a long time ago. Remember, I like Dave Dorn, right?
Mhm.
Dave
Still
Dorn's
there.
been pretty rock steady, right?
No,
They-
no.
No.
He has not been rocked. He's only
Sure he
been rocked.
has. They go
He's
to
only
bowl
been
almost
rocked. No.
every year.
If you only look at the
No.
record, maybe
Yeah.
Dave Doran until this recent stretch has not been steady at all.
Agreed.
He's been on the hot
there
seat.
have been
They
calls
go
for
to
his
the bowl
job
every year,
almost every
guys.
year. I know he's won
Yeah,
8-9
but
games a
he's-
number of times.
It's
He's
one of
good.
those it's one of
That
those
sounds
the
pretty
coaches.
awesome to me.
No, it's one of those the coach is embarrassing, but they can't find a reason to fire him kind of thing.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
so no, they don't like
What's
Dave Doran
embarrassing
at all.
about 8 wins?
about winning.
Oh, there's plenty of
I don't
ways
know.
that you can get to 7 wins and be embarrassing. And apparently Dave Doran,
Dino Babers
I need to
is
know.
3
I'm
and 3.
serious because all I do is I look from the outside and I go,
it's the style of play, it's the inconsistent recruiting, and he is generally an embarrassment. Speaking of embarrassments,
He's done nothing
Iowa
off the
Iowa
field.
is this weekend.
Yeah.
Speaking of
So-
coaches that probably shouldn't have their jobs, but everybody is still kind of ignoring this. I don't know if we have such short memories that we remember that, not even 6 months ago, the coach at Iowa, whose offensive coordinator is his son, was accused of running a blatantly racist program. I don't know if we've
It's
forgotten
weird. Isn't it
about
weird
that?
how seriously I marvel at this, how some things tend to kind of just go away and some things never go away. This one seems like it would have been something that would have the pop culture, the media would have held on to, and yet nobody talks about it at all.
Everybody loves Kirk Ferentz.
So,
And
Iowa, baby.
he does it the right way. He does it in Iowa. It's the many people have said he's a coach on the field. Anyway, he's
Very scrappy on the sideline.
he's really scrappy.
None of
He's
those
gritty.
none of
He's
those
gritty.
quarterbacks or tight ends who've come through there have seen anything that would suggest.
Exactly. Offensive linemen.
Yeah, no, they've all.
They haven't seen
know, it's
any
unfounded.
reason to. It's wild how they're the number 2 team in the country. The biggest story of the last 6 months was broken that they were running a blatantly racist program, and one of the racist people was hired into the NFL and then kicked out almost immediately by the guy that is the current embarrassment of the NFL, Urban Meyer.
How the
So it's
hell does he still have a job? Meyer, I'm talking about.
Meyer?
Oh well, Meyer.
Yeah, him
who
getting
knows?
warned again and saying he really needs to shape up. I'm like, what? Like I would think they got him on a moral clause, something, right? I mean,
Nah, in the NFL.
Kirk Ferentz and Urban Meyer, 2 names that have won a lot, and even if you're not winning at that, at the NFL level, there are 2 names, and with those names comes a lot of leeway and
A lot of second chances.
benefit of the doubt, second chances.
If
Yes.
Meyer got fired, let's say tomorrow, let's say he was caught humping somebody else in a bar, and they said, you're embarrassing us too much, and you're 0-7 or whatever, so
Right.
you're out. He would have the pick, the college job of his choice.
I don't know
agree?
anymore.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
that's the
anymore.
thing. I wonder if he has it. You don't think, Jay?
Absolutely,
I think he may have blown it.
so to speak. What?
Damn it.
Grr, got him.
Got him.
No, I don't know.
No,
about
I don't
that.
think like LSU, USC, Miami. I don't know if anyone will touch them.
Absolutely.
I don't
They
think
don't
any.
give a shit about any of that.
No, they a year from now, maybe again a year from now, just like Iowa right now. A year
Okay.
ago, it was looking like Ferentz would not come back after
Ferentz does
last
this.
year.
Ferentz does that every couple years. He starts to look mortal, and then they do this. They start 9-0, and they're 2 in the nation, or something
And
like that.
mortal is fine, but I think we have forgotten that he ran a program that was like actually harming the people that he was supposed to coach. And so it's like, what are we doing here? Like D'Antonio isn't a coach anymore. Like, right? And so it's like, but we're okay with Kirk Ferentz. Anyway, that's my Kirk Ferentz rant.
If
I
Kirk Ferentz-
I
let
have
me ask you this,
not.
Nish.
Yeah.
On Ferentz, let's say that whole. I think it's timing too. Americans, everyone gets bored of things. If that
No doubt.
story broke 3 weeks ago or this week, I think it's a different story.
It broke this time last year, didn't it?
I thought it was over the summer. I thought it was
It
off
was the
season.
summer. It
Was
was
it over the summer?
Yeah,
What
that's
is
what I'm saying.
time?
I think it was
anyway?
like a weird time in like July.
It was
like
a weird
June.
time.
Oh, I
yes.
think you're right.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
That's a
I mean,
big
like,
Because they
difference.
fired the strength coach or asked him
Mhm.
to leave or whatever it was in like July or August, which was
Let's
pretty
say
tough thing for a
that
program to do.
breaks and they're 3-3. Now suddenly it's like, yep, time to move on. We got to make a stand.
That's
here.
it, Jay, right there. That's like the Bobby Knight
Yeah,
theory,
now
right?
we're gonna hold you
when you're
accountable.
not getting further in the tournament, you no longer can strangle players
value.
or
Yeah.
shoot coaches or I mean, goodness gracious, like that's the thing.
berate ladies in your office. He said, "Oh God, don't get me."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's true though, guys. I mean, that's the whole thing. And here's the thing where I think you guys are. Let's say we're all right here about Urban Meyer. Okay, I think there's some people that would say, yeah, we would never hire that guy now. It's one thing to have benefits for players that now that doesn't even matter. It's quite another when you get into a moral thing and publicly embarrassing a school. But I would say there is always an AD out there that'll play ball with something like that. There's always somebody be like, no big deal. Guy having a good time.
Yeah, but the question is,
know him.
would Fair
Exactly,
or would Urban take that job? Those kind of jobs,
Which job?
right? So, like, if Texas
USC?
Tech,
Like
no, let's
Western
say
Kentucky
no,
or
I don't
No,
think
he's not taking Texas Tech.
exactly.
He doesn't need to take
Exactly.
it.
So, is the line if the line is below the likely ones this summer that'll open, which are USC, LSU, Miami, like I don't think any of them touch him.
Oh, I
this
think you're
summer.
crazy about LSU.
I don't think
I
any.
think
I don't know
LSU would-
the AU, but I think
LSU is currently under Title IX, and they're going to use Title IX as an excuse.
You know what they want to do more than anything in niche all the time? Beat Alabama. That's
and
it.
that's
That is
fine.
it.
And they can write the check for the $1 trillion man at Texas A&M if they would like, but Urban Meyer, as you are under this, I really do think that you're right. Timing is everything, and maybe a year from now they wouldn't they would be
Days
able
from
to.
now,
It
days from
depends
now,
what
it's all
opens
going to be
it.
no big deal.
Well, it depends on what
Meyer,
opens.
you guys act like he didn't issue a heartfelt apology. That's all he needed to do. Like it was totally convincing.
I was.
But my point, coming back to this weekend, is that win or lose, number one, number two, top five, whether they win the national championship, we should, as a Big Ten, just like we were embarrassed by Penn State, just like we were embarrassed by Michigan State, we should be embarrassed that Iowa is still run by this person. And it's awful. I've never disliked Iowa before this until this broke, and it's kind of ridiculous how everybody's choosing to ignore it. So I hope Brom does the thing again where he sees Iowa and starts drooling and tears, Iowa apart. Because Iowa, if we get to it, is not impressive. The defense is amazing. The defense is really good. The offense is flat out terrible.
Fortunately, Purdue's not starting a quarterback who has interception issues.
Iowa is too.
Defense. But
Iowa is too.
Purdue's defense doesn't generate turnovers.
That's really the problem, right?
This
is the biggest part.
And Iowa can generate lots of turnovers.
That O-line is going to, I'm not saying manhandle George, but they're going to obviously do what other teams have done and hold the hell out of him.
Triple team.
One hold.
It's incredible.
Called against, and we've watched him every week. One hold.
Like I isolate on him just to see what's happening, and I'm like,
now some of the photographers
are stupid.
Vudo has been taking pictures of him. I think it's him.
Yes.
And just saying, look at this, and posting and it's like three guys like he's being taken down by three security guards at a nightclub.
Well, it kind of stinks like a little bit. As much as we think the defense has come along, that they can afford their offensive lines can afford to double and triple team him, and then the other guys aren't exploiting that and getting sacks. That when it happens, I think Johnson got attacked. I got a sack that way, right? If you have a triple team on a dude, and we've got photographic and video evidence over and over, he's getting triple teamed. Other guys should be able to feast.
The takeaways are important, and especially against Iowa, they're important. But you can't score 13 points in 2021 for 3 straight games and win. I mean, the defense.
Where's that offense, man?
You need turnovers, you need sacks, you need some kind of takeaways.
Plays.
But we need offense, and it's wild how we can
get it.
It's wild how we can count on the defense. I mean, I don't know what the over under is, J Money, but bet the under on this game.
Well, I bet you I'll take a look, but I'll bet you it's really low.
You think mid 40s probably?
Yeah, I bet you without looking, I'd bet you it's 45 to 48, which is extremely low for college football. But I bet
if it's 48, go under because it's been 20 to mid 20s. I think
I got an over under for you guys.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give you 15 points as Purdue over under offense.
I think over.
I think it's a great over under.
Yeah, I think not too much, but I'll take the over.
Look what Iowa's allowing. This is why I say that. Look what Iowa's allowing and what we've seen from Purdue for 3 straight games. 13 points a game for 3 games.
The only solace that we can take on the offensive side of things is that they are without their top cornerback, and David Bell and Jeff Brom have torn Iowa up every single time they've played them.
Yeah. And that's kind of the inverse of the theorem about Wisconsin, right? Because you're saying, okay, we know Brom can beat Iowa. Yeah. He's done it. And I understand that. Well, I just have a hard time believing this version of Iowa won't have an easy time containing this version of the Purdue offense.
So
maybe, but
Uh,
yeah.
Well, Iowa by 11.5. Over under is 43. Now that's that is low for college football. College football is routinely in the 50s and 60s, which is ludicrous when you then look on Sundays because 40 something is typical in the NFL. 43.
So if Iowa wins 14-30, you pick the over, you barely win, and that seems to me exactly what will happen.
I don't think Iowa will
think-
put up 30 points.
I think it'll be 20-13, something like that.
Something like that is more likely. Iowa is last in the Big Ten in total offense and points scored. Iowa's offense is bad.
How is Iowa's defense in scoring points? I mean,
They are the number one in takeaways.
they're going to score. They'll score once or twice.
Greg
They're number one
McManus
in
put it up in the sidebar a little while ago. They have 16 interceptions.
God,
Try that on for size. 16.
mercy.
I'm trusting Greg's research because, as everyone knows, we don't.
Oh, it's spotless.
It's ridiculous.
It's sterling. It's impeccable.
16 interceptions.
Man,
That's I'm actually saying it exactly as he posted it because it requires exclamation points. That is
16!
insane.
You
And
gotta
they
go
played
high
six
for that.
games, almost 3 interceptions a game. I can even do that math.
And that's
Quickly,
why
too.
it's
impressive.
like, I don't know. And AOC, a lot of his interception, numbers are a little bit skewed because some of them are not, some of them were,
Yeah,
it
I
is
think
what.
that's
That
okay.
being said, he
I don't love
has
that.
been mistake prone, like recently.
I just don't like ever saying that because Rondell Moore and David Bell also give you more completions because of what they can do.
David Bell, definitely, yeah.
I'm saying it swings both ways. I'm saying
You're
those
right.
kinds of talents.
Right. Part of
when
the
you're like,
part of the
those
numbers are
interceptions
padded
shouldn't
the
be his
other way,
fault.
too. Yeah.
Okay, but some of the catches absolutely shouldn't be made, and they are. So, it evens out in the wash, and he throws more picks. And I'm not saying that's a reason to not play him. He also, as we've said, the plus side is he's not afraid to go for the target he should go for, and that's
Right.
great. And Plummer has shown a little bit of hesitancy to do that. All that said, I said before Minnesota, I wanted Plummer in there still. I still want him in there.
To me, this year, Plummer being in versus Iowa would make sense. If you're going to have a guy manage a game and not throw picks.
100% agree.
But should they play that way against Iowa? I guess they should because that defense is just too scary to start.
This is not right. This is not Notre Dame to me. This is not take a shot. You take a shot at Iowa, they're gonna make you pay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what do you got to do? Keep it. So basically, what you're saying is expect Braum to do what he's been doing and keep it close. Try to play.
Yes.
See, you're not going to win that way. You're not going to win it in
Go
Iowa
for the
City
tie.
that way.
Go for the tie.
The tie. The Jim Coletto tie.
That's right.
It's 1 point for a tie in the standings, right?
Yes.
It's
awesome.
It's like hockey.
That's all you need.
So I mean,
I don't know how they win. I like if they win. I don't know what the formula is for winning. This is
Bell.
Wouldn't you agree that some of the
That's it. David Bell.
success has been surprising against Iowa? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Like he does not fear Iowa.
I could absolutely see Iowa falling behind early on a David Bell score.
Sure.
And the quarterback,
Purdue
what's his name? Is Petrus. Is bad. He's bad.
How do you say not good?
Having him drop back is how Purdue wins.
That's good.
There is a path to do that. That being said, AOC threw the game away against Minnesota, and we're still going with him. And it wasn't like J Money, like you were saying earlier. We moved to AOC because he made quick decisions,
right?
And he took 3 drive-killing sacks.
Right.
Because he couldn't even
not
throw
making
the
the
ball
quick
away.
decision, not making the quick, not doing the one thing that we know he can do. So then you have to go talent versus talent, and there's nobody that can tell me that AOC has a bigger arm. I know people that are drinking or huffing paint say that. It's not true. It is not true. And Plummer's pocket presence is better. He feels pressure. He doesn't just drop back, not feel it, get crumpled. Right.
The way to do it is Bell scores early. Is a sack or a takeaway, and a big play generated probably by Burton, like a trick play that executes Burton's arm. That's how Purdue can win, like basically score 20 points and win against Iowa, which is really like that is a plausible thing to see. But I suppose we have to have faith in Brom choosing AOC here, but and I hope all of us are proven wrong, but I am not sure. That I see, like, I think the decision to start AOC is why I am picking Iowa in this game, even
Right.
though I spelled out why I really don't think that they are good. I don't think that they're a moral program, but I also don't think that their offense is very good, despite their defense being historically great. And I could absolutely see a way that Jeff Brom goes to 4-1 against Kirk Ferentz, but
Gosh, great.
Well,
that
all the
So
moral
so
stuff, like you guys know where I stand on moral things generally.
you don't care about them, I know.
it's disgusting to see stuff
Oh.
happening like what happened in Iowa. It's disgusting to see what's happened, in much of the college football world. I think Jeff Brom has done a great job being completely clean, being somebody who how can you not enjoy the guy? Like the fact that he supports Purdue, we all love him, right? In between the white lines this year, just like we're like, what is he doing? And that's the thing that's so hard for me to swallow. We're back in the position where I'm like, okay, what's the definition of the program right now? I mean, I would say what it looks like is Jeff Brom can still pull a big recruit every now and again. That's a big deal.
I mean, the
Goodness,
future looks nice.
Yes.
Like, and kind of on paper,
Been
it
saying
looks
that
nice.
for years.
We have.
But
and then there's no depth. There's no depth that's been developed. We're in year 5. I'm like airing all the things I've been thinking, but I'm sorry. Like there's
and
no
another
depth.
thing.
You
know what grinds my gears?
You know what grinds? Yeah, exactly. But the injuries, they happen in football. They happen to Penn State. They happen to Iowa. Injuries happen in football. That's the deal. And so the sad thing is Purdue doesn't have any depth to take it. And you're in year 5, and you can't just say, "Oh shucks, we're little old Purdue." You're still playing in the Big Ten. Time to put on your big boy panties.
Well, and somebody I think I saw on Twitter, I can't remember where it was, but there was a when some of these high profile commitments, I think it was the most recent guy, I'm forgetting his name, the quarterback that chose Purdue, but somebody said, what the difference between this team and the team that was just honored, the 2000 team, is the linemen.
Yep.
The offensive line is not being recruited the way that it was back then.
Right.
And if Brom, it'd be great to keep getting the Getsy lands, but you got to figure out how to work. And I think that's other position coaches recruiting. Go ahead, Anish. What were you going to say?
PJ Fleck is a joke. That being said,
And yet,
everywhere PJ Fleck goes, there's flash and all of this. It is on the field. He cultivates linemen and single unit offensive lines functioning together. Like that is what his specialty
and
is.
if you really look at it's funny, like what you're saying, the dichotomy of PJ Fleck, the personality, he's annoying and he's horrible and he's got all this other sideshow crap happening on the field. They're just like boom, boom. They're like Wisconsin.
Exactly. It reminds me of a Wisconsin light, where
Right.
it is just like the offensive line are not as big as Wisconsin, but they're just as effective.
And
they're beasts.
And when you do that and you build your foundation that way in the Big Ten, you win 7 or 8 games a year, and when everything falls right, you go 11-2, like they did a couple years ago.
Right.
I mean, and he did the same thing at Central. It wasn't, or was it, no, sorry, wherever what was the
Western Michigan?
Directional Michigan. And so it's
I think you're going to be forgiven for that. I think you even have the same colors happening there.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why. But we played. I love that. Lefevre, is that his name?
Oh, Dan
you
Lefevre.
remember him?
I got Lefevre.
Purdue played him twice in 9 months. They played him.
No, 3 times.
3 times in a year.
Yeah, because
bowl game on the schedule. Bowl game.
Yeah.
The
best.
Unreal.
It was so good. And it was Painter. I think going up against him, and there was no defense being played.
No one cares.
32.
No. I'm pretty sure it was in the 40s.
47, 42.
So
it was. It was one of those where you're like, "Whew, man, glad they won that game." Like that was a Curtis Painter special, though. Let's be honest.
I love it.
He loved beating teams like that.
So the other thing is that, always talk about foundation building and always talk about this. I mean, I've been seeing idiot kind of columns, written about like, the hot seats and things like that, or just touching on it. And it's like, Brom has Purdue fans being reminded of the Hazel time. And I was like, okay, that's
No,
somebody who
you're
didn't
a
watch De La
dumbass.
Hazel football.
Exactly.
So let's like, we are it's the same. This is the same frustrations we had of Matt Painter in 2016, right?
Yeah.
Which is like the best version of Purdue is like the better Matt Painter. There's nobody that we could hire at Purdue that would have been better than better Matt Painter, right? There's
I think
nobody
that's a good accurate statement.
There's nobody.
Top of the line Matt Painter is excellent.
There's nobody that
I
Purdue
love top of the line Matt Painter.
Who
I love Fat Painter.
Exactly? Who's eating
know we were
donuts?
going there.
Who's got his hoagies on deck?
Exactly. He's got a snack ready to go.
Hoagie is in the fridge. It's always ready to go. And by the way, if we're doing a quick check on the Matt Painter, we're getting a good season this year. But that being said, the best version of Purdue football is if a better Jeff Brom, and that's what we're asking for.
Right.
We've seen it before.
That's a fair take. That's a fair take.
Iowa, again, is what every year he has one of these wins that kind of reminds you. Oh,
well, that's what I was going to say. What's after that Minnesota loss? What I wanted to say to you guys is, for the rest of the schedule, what's the game they're going to win that they shouldn't? And I actually was going to say, I think it's more likely to be Wisconsin than this one. I think
Wisconsin, Michigan State,
yeah. Michigan State's the one. To me, Wisconsin, you should almost win. Michigan State, I think, is the one you shouldn't win.
Yeah, and they're not gonna. Let me just be be clear.
I mean,
here's why I think. Okay, here's the thing. Jeff Brom is pretty good.
Minnesota was at home too, Anish.
That's why I said it was versus non-explosive offenses. They really are. They generally are.
So was Minnesota.
Who are we playing this weekend?
Right,
non-explosive offense.
So you say it's Iowa. Anish is going out. It's Iowa.
I am
all right.
I would have predicted that if I would have been more confident in AOC, because I can absolutely see.
I would have predicted a win
to Wisconsin, though.
I would have predicted a win if I thought.
I will never pick a win against. I cannot pick a win versus Wisconsin. I can't do it.
I'm not. To be clear, I'm not picking a win against Wisconsin, but I'm saying if you're looking at of the games left that he shouldn't win, what one do you think there's a better chance of? Of all of them, I say Wisconsin. I think
Michigan State.
Probably. I love the history.
Or Nebraska.
I love the history with. So here's the thing, right? We've talked about this before. Ohio State, Purdue fans, Purdue teams across generations, they're never worried when Ohio State's coming to Purdue. There's a weirdness. Ohio State players have admitted it. Okay. Same thing with Iowa. I think Purdue as a program going to Iowa, especially under Hope and Brom, because you made jokes on from the Hopeful Danny account. I remember one, he said, called Tiller to ask him, why he never wanted Iowa like I do. I don't think he thought it was as funny as I did, but it's true. Hope could beat them. Hope could beat Ferentz. Brom could beat Ferentz. And I think I don't know if someone put it in our Twitter timeline, but there's Iowa fans saying, I'm more worried about the Purdue game than Penn State.
Good. I feel about Iowa as you feel about Nebraska. I want nothing more than to just destroy them when they are number 2 for the first time in 30-something years. I would love it, because that program, just like Michigan State last year, just like I continue to rail against Michigan State. Hey, by the way, Tom Izzo is still a coach at Michigan State.
It's a cesspool still.
Still hamming it up for the cameras.
Michigan State still exists as an athletic department. I want
that's the bigger thing. Turn that place to glass, man. That was deep.
I want nothing more than to beat Iowa, because I do not like Kirk Ferentz. I do not like everybody that enjoys turning a blind eye to this. I do not like that everybody has been allowed to forget about this, and that offense is bad. So I would love it if the one win this year that reminds us, like, oh yes, that's why best Jeff Brom is Purdue's best option. It would be Iowa.
I mean, well, here's something here's going back to the quarterback and bad offense, kind of bringing a bunch of things together. Let's not forget Iowa's big, horrible quarterback is a 4-star quarterback. It's amazing to me. And that's a guy that everybody says rocket arm. You watch how that ball comes out of his hands, and then it goes so fast at a dude's feet. Like it is like it's a heat-seeking missile for shoelaces. Nobody can catch that.
Look, he's completed 60% of his passes, which is not great. He's thrown for 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. But he's not asked to win games.
No, he's not asked to win games.
No.
So he does what he needs to do, and that's what Purdue.
He's hard. I think he's hard to bring down because he's so big and strong. Because I think he's like 6'5", isn't he?
He's huge.
Yeah.
He's a big dude. He
I'd love,
listed
I'd love a
6'5",
big Karloff this
233.
game.
Mercy.
I mean, but
That's like
we'll see.
That's like a niche size. 6'5",
I know.
233.
Purdue is
Solid
wearing,
muscle.
Oh, did you see? Purdue is wearing gold helmets,
Yep.
the traditional golds that I really like, white
whites.
jerseys, but they're on the road, so what are you going to do? And the gray pants, which I haven't worn in years, according to our friend at Boiler Uniforms.
Oh!
Well, they know they're going to Iowa.
They beat Iowa in those gray pants with Mahungu.
Yes. Well, they know no black.
The pants,
allowed at Iowa.
are the good luck charm.
Nobody even hears my jokes.
You say no blacks.
Purdue knew, got to come in all white at Iowa.
It's not allowed. It's in the
understand
bylaws.
We can't put any black on. They don't like it there.
It's
don't
in
like
the
it there.
bylaw. You don't know if you'll be able to get back on the buses.
Join us this weekend as I attempt to thread the needle on Twitter with these jokes.
Right. Good luck. Good luck. We're gonna get shut down.
No, they'll all be little like
Iowa fans aren't sensitive about any of this. I mean,
they're totally reasonable.
In fact,
they love us.
I
too.
can't think of one time where Iowa fans have locked horns with us for something that seemed innocuous.
For jokes.
For jokes. And they're supposed to be the funny guys in the Big Ten blogosphere. Not so funny when they get.
They like a niche. They like a niche, which is weird for an Iowa.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe
but I'm the right.
Maybe
I'm the right hue. It's not the
HUGH. You mean?
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
So everybody feels good, is what we're saying.
Oh, feels great.
I hate Iowa, man.
We did. So we're at the 45-minute mark, and we all have stuff to do. So I did want to say we didn't get a whole lot on Twitter because we didn't give anybody any heads up. But Trip Truman does say big 3-game stretch for our beloved Boilers. Am I crazy to think we can win 2 of the next 3? Which, let me just remind you, is Iowa, Wisconsin, Nebraska. So is it possible? Sure.
If there is one in that trio, I will be thrilled. If there's one in that trio,
I will be exactly where I think they should be if they get one.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Well, think they should be or will be. I mean, yeah, they're gonna lose. You'd have to say they're gonna lose to Iowa and Wisconsin. I do think both of them. If you want to feel optimistic going into those, and you want to say I think there's a path to beating them, as Anish said, then I completely agree there is. This is not a Wisconsin under Hazel or whatever, where it's a 62-10 loss.
No.
And then if
they get Jonathan Taylor, thank God.
Well, the problem is if they get beat up this week and next week, and then they got to go play at Nebraska, that's a little. You really don't want Nebraska after 2 shellacking.
Shouldn't we have the inverse that if a bye week makes you unhealthy and you're unhealthy leaving the Iowa game on a normal week, shouldn't you be really
Wisconsin,
healthy?
You'll be all cleared up.
Property.
Exactly. Be no problem. Horvath will be back. Maybe one of the guys who's been doomed for the season.
Horvath actually might be back, right? Like eventually.
Yeah. He could be back. He could be back Wisconsin.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
and Drew looked okay.
Drew's the quickest scenario.
Drew's going
to play.
Okay. Drew's probable, I think.
Yes.
Because they said he's going like 90% in practice. So.
But they're
that's what Trice did, and he blew his knee out. So
maybe hey, negative, bro.
Jeez, I know,
negative.
I know. Trice would have been real nice to get. I mean, he would have been a nice turnover against this quarterback. But anyway,
I don't think I was going to throw the ball a lot.
I would love it if we force them to. If David Bell forces them to.
You'd have to be up a lot to force them to.
Dude, Ferentz doesn't do this. He's just like, he is completely okay with the stressful close game. And I think he thinks that he doesn't need to do that versus Purdue anyway. So,
I mean, let me look here. He has thrown. So they beat Iowa State 27-17 on 9/11, and he went 11 of 21 for 106.
He's bad, man.
Yeah, he's bad.
He is pretty bad, but they beat Penn State 23-20. That was a comeback win. Let's not forget. He was
against a backup quarterback that looked like he didn't get any reps.
Right.
He went 17 of 31 for 195, completion percentage of 54.8,
nice.
touchdowns and a pick. So
nice.
Yeah.
Need George to get in his face one time and just kind of disrupt his motion to make him think. Just George, because
why would you ever want to be a quarterback? I see all of these terrifying defensive linemen, and it's like, why?
I think more than not just
be
a quarterback.
pitcher.
I think I'd be okay with a drop back quarterback, but being like a mobile quarterback makes no sense to me.
No.
Like saying we're going to call your number one out every 4 or 5 plays. No way.
Bless
like-
Burton for dealing with this, but goodness,
Exactly.
no, thank you.
Goodness gracious.
Anyway, I hate Iowa.
I'm going to
I
say
want
something
them
because I've
to
been
lose.
negative the whole time. I will say the thing that I think AOC is notably better over Plummer is the deep ball. Okay. People and like I think he throws a beautiful fade. Really.
And he
Like,
actually throws it.
He throws it. Plummer doesn't throw it. And when he does, even in warm-ups, I always watch Plummer throwing deep balls. And it's like, boo! It's way too far. Like way too low. Guys can't get to it. Here's the other part. I've heard media say if ESPN said that if Iowa plays a team with a lot of speed on the outside, they can get beaten. The problem is I don't see Rondell Moore walking through that door, right? So there's no burner.
And
So
especially
the deep
with
ball
Yassine
skill
out.
again
Right's
is
fast.
out of the picture to me.
Right is fast, and right. I mean, that was one of the big, one of the bright spots of the Minnesota game. One of the
I
very
think you're gonna
two
say
of the bright
speed.
spots.
You're going to say Sheffield's the fastest guy
Sheffield,
available.
yeah, right
Yeah.
now with Yassine
Right.
out, yeah.
By the way, Marcellus Moore, exciting news for him to leave and come back and leave and come back and leave and come back, and now he's fully in the transfer portal.
It's very strange.
So it's
all
great that
very
I put all the
strange.
eggs in that basket too, where I said that's the guy I'm excited about. There we
We
go.
got
There's
Yassine.
the guy. Not
we
only
got
can he
Yassine
not hold
coming
on to
back.
football, he can't hold on to a commitment to stay or leave a school. Come on.
It's fine. It'll be
guy.
fine.
He gone.
I hate Iowa. I hope we win. We probably won't, but I could see it happening, and I just hope that
If Purdue wins, man, you guys are going to be talking yourselves into Wisconsin.
I don't.
No.
If Purdue wins, I will
Nah.
just be celebrating.
My
I will
odds of them
never
losing
talk
to
my
Wisconsin
way.
go up.
Yeah, I
You
will
think?
never talk myself into Wisconsin.
Right. Show me. You gotta have it happen before I can pick it. Because then I'll have a reason to believe. Right now I have no reason to believe.
So I am predicting a high teens to low 20s loss.
Yep.
Anybody refute that?
Nope.
Nah.
20-13. That's my call.
Okay.
I think we get up to 16, but then it's
16, 22-16. Some stupid
Exactly,
ass.
some-
like-
That would be horrible
stupid
if they're
Ferentz
within a
score.
score and never get close enough to actually win the game, right?
Yeah.
They're just like at the 20, the other side. They can't move it because
Well, it's
Iowa
stupid,
decides
too,
to
because
ratchet down at that point.
when you look at they're favored by 11.5, and it's an over-under of 43, which sort of suggests it's going to be like a 30-10 game, which is weird because
It's
Iowa's
ridiculous.
not going to score that much.
No, they're not.
And
They're bad.
It's
So I would take Purdue to cover, but I can't see anything beyond that.
17-7 is a cover.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Which could happen. Another waste of a Saturday, but there is a path for it.
waste of a Saturday.
There is a path for it, and Brahm's done it before against Ferentz, and this year would be the sweetest win against him. So, anyway, thanks for joining us randomly on a Friday at lunchtime.
Nothing like a
appreciate it.
Friday, midday, early afternoon delight, handsome
Yep.
hour.
Love it.
Unplanned,
I love you guys.
hate-filled.
Good afternoon.